There can never be enough videos about retro-inspired sports cars and restored automotive classics, so we can promise to keep talking about these cars for as long as you keep asking for more in the comments. Let's get started. Eccentrica V12. The Diablo is one of the most recognizable supercars of the 1990s and the first production Lamborghini to be capable of reaching 200 miles per hour. The vision of the revitalized Italian exotic comes from the newly established startup from San Marino. This revitalized Lamborghini rides on an upgraded suspension with new active dampers and a convenient front lift system to deal with speed bumps. There are some structural composite reinforcements, standard power steering, and stopping power from Brembo. The model will retain the scissor doors, pop-up headlights, and the wedge-shaped body, but there are new 19-inch wheels and DRLs. The creators chose not to mess up the classic V12 too much. Therefore, the 5.7-liter gets an updated 6-speed manual with different ratios and a custom center-exit exhaust system. The produced 550 horsepower and 442 pound-feet of torque are transferred to the rear wheels. Lastly, the refreshed cabin is devoid of all plastics, has improved ergonomics, and a retro-vibing digital dash. Porsche Sonderwunsch 911 Type 993 Speedster. This particular build was ordered by designer and Speedster collector Luca Trozzi. He realized his lifelong dream of owning a 4th-generation Type 993 Porsche 911 in the Speedster variant, which had never been released to the mass market. This one-off is based on the 911 Carrera Cabriolet of the 1994 model year and sports the newly developed vibrant yellow body color. The 18-inch light alloy wheels and turbo design were painted black and received some aerodynamic elements. The interior is dominated by hand-stitched black leather with checkered flag patterns. There are some sporty carbon fiber inserts and a state-of-the-art infotainment with navigation and Apple CarPlay. All of the moving parts of this 911 come from the Carrera RS donor, so you get a 3.8-liter air-cooled 6-cylinder with a 300 horsepower output. Kalmar 9x9. The new 9x9 supercar by Kalmar Automotive is a tribute model dedicated to one of the most influential road-going Porsches of all time, the Porsche 959. The company decided that the retro feel would only be replicated on the outside, so the vehicle got a lightweight carbon bodywork with aerodynamic components that ensure 3,196 pounds of downforce at top speed. Underneath the bodywork hides a modern Porsche 993 chassis that holds premium motorsport components like a custom double wishbone pushrod actuated suspension, an active all-wheel drive system, rear-wheel steering, shock absorbers with adaptive valving, and a combination of 19 and 20-inch magnesium wheels. Depending on the rider's needs, the vehicle will be offered with 3-engine and transmission combos. The vehicle with the most powerful setup weighs 3,030 pounds, produces 930 horsepower that is channeled through a PDK to ensure a 0 to 60 sprint in 2 seconds and a limited top speed of 211 miles per hour. On the inside, the retro feel is nearly absent as you get a modern dash with top-class trim materials, lightweight bucket seats by Recaro, a gauge cluster with LCD screens, and a high-end audio system. AC Cobra GT Roadster and Coupe. With a proud history dating back to 1908, AC Cars is standing strong as an independent car maker with a single yet extremely desirable item on the menu. The AC Cobra has been continuously manufactured since 1968, and now it enters the new generation with a duo of body styles, a classic roofless roadster and a coupe. The two share the aluminum space frame chassis and get a full carbon fiber body. The newcomers are 11 inches longer than the original, therefore even drivers over 6 feet tall can finally enjoy the legend. AC targeted the curb weight of 3,300 pounds and achieved near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution. The list of engine configurations includes a standard 5-liter V8 with 450 horsepower, a 720 horsepower variant with a supercharger, Plus, there is a special 99-unit Club Sport Edition that packs as many as 799 ponies. Enthusiasts can choose a 6-speed manual tranny, but there's also a 10-speed automatic with paddle shifters. This is a rear-wheel drive sports car optionally upgradable to a Torsen-limited slip differential. Zagato AGTZ Twin-Tail. The Italian boutique automaker Zagato was approached by the Polish marketing company La Squadra for a special commission that would pay homage to the legendary Alpine A220. Despite not claiming the Le Mans title in 1969, this racer generated a cult following mostly for its unseen short to long-tail conversion. For this build, Zagato selected a modern car by Alpine and reshaped it to aerodynamic perfection. The A110 received new body panels and a one-of-a-kind twin-tail design. The long-tail version is reserved for track days when supreme aerodynamics is a must, while the short tail would be used for daily cruising. The underpinnings of the Alpine Grand Touring Zagato, aka AGTZ, have not been disclosed, but we would assume that this model is still powered by a modified version of the turbo 1.8-liter 4-cylinder coupled with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. In the Alpine A110R, this mill makes 296 horsepower and will get you to 60 in 3.9 seconds. The AGTZ Twin-Tail will be limited to 19 units, which are about 6 times more expensive than the most heavily spec'd Alpine. Tuthill GT One. Despite having a clear resemblance to the 911, the 22 units of the Tuthill GT One supercar will be built from scratch and are expected to take over 3,500 man-hours to complete. The model gets a full carbon fiber body attached to the tubular structure. It rides on a twin wishbone suspension front and rear and a quartet of Michelin Pilot Sport 4S rubber. There will be a choice of 2 engines, a 4-liter flat 6 making 500 horsepower or its forced induction version making 600 horsepower. As standard, the power will be sent to the rear wheels via a 7-speed DCT transmission, with an option to upgrade to a traditional manual. The advanced digital dashboard is elegantly fitted to the interior and accompanied by conveniently classically styled analog buttons. It's truly hard to calculate the true value of such cars. So do you think these retro-inspired vehicles are worth the price, or are the manufacturers just toying with fans of automotive history? Share your thoughts below, and we'll keep going. 300 SL Tesla by S-Klub LA. S-Klub LA is a California-based automotive design studio that's been involved in the American car scene since the mid-1990s. You may check out their extensive portfolio of vintage-inspired works, but we believe that their 300 SL Tesla offers the most unusual combination of style and technology. This reimagined version of the Mercedes 300 SL, which originally started rolling out of the production lines in the middle of the 20th century, is built on top of the Tesla Model 3's frame. So inside, EV fans would get a recognizable layout with a Tesla steering wheel and a tablet-style infotainment display. However, on the outside, you get a fiberglass replica of the classic Mercedes body that even has integrated Tesla autopilot cameras. Aston Martin Valiant. Aston Martin's bespoke Q division has recently announced a special 38-unit version of the Valiant. The model was inspired by a personal commission vehicle produced for Fernando Alonso, so it's not surprising that it's tuned for both road and track use. With this model, Aston Martin continues the tradition of building pure driver's cars with high-performance engines. The engine setup of the Valiant is represented by a twin-turbo V12 with a massive 734 horsepower and 555 pound-feet torque output channeled through a 6-speed manual transmission. To handle prolonged track use, this retro-inspired coupe is fitted with carbon ceramic brakes, a suspension setup with Multimatic ASV dampers, and 3 pre-programmed driving modes, one of which, of course, is for track driving. Further track-oriented preparations include lightweight carbon fiber bodywork, 21-inch magnesium wheels, and external elements created with the help of titanium and light but strong 3D printed parts. The exterior look was described by the manufacturer as a modern take on the iconic Muncher Le Mans racer, while the interior is quite reserved and features a built-in half cage with 4-point race harnesses, Recaro podium seats, and a tasteful combination of Alcantara and leather trims. Morgan XP1 and Super 3 origins. The all-electric Morgan XP1 leaps forward in terms of aerodynamics by improving its drag coefficient to 0.42. The new powertrain doubles the output to 134 horsepower and transfers it to the rear wheel via a chain drive. The 33 kilowatt-hour battery can cover 150 miles of range, and surprisingly, it does not significantly increase the curb weight as it remains below 1,500 pounds. The XP1 uses adjustable nitron dampers and has a very sharp handling. Inside, there's a new infotainment and an experimental Sennheiser sound system that employs actuators mounted directly onto the chassis, effectively turning the car into a sound amplifier. Other 2025 news from the company includes a release of the Super 3 Origins collection. Based on the ICE-powered Super 3 with a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engine, the series consists of 9 single-unit commissions inspired by the brand's historic models, automotive design trends from the 1950s to 1980s, and even more important, events that shaped humanity as we know it. Renault R17. Back in the 1970s, the R17 Coupe was an undisputed attention grabber due to its unconventional geometric shapes and a radical look highlighted by 4 halogen headlamps and blinds in the rear section. More than 100,000 units of this sports coupe were sold, and now it's being honored by the famous French designer Aurelito, who built a stunning all-electric concept. The retro-futuristic adaptation gets an all-carbon body painted in an exclusive brown color. Just like its predecessor, the R17 gets 4 rectangular LED headlights, there's a unibrow rear light, and the iconic blinds in the rear quarter of the window. The new rear-mounted electric motor offers a 270 horsepower output. The designer managed to preserve the vintage vibes of the cabin by using old-school materials inspired by retro furniture, and the dashboard keeps the squared-off dials, which were digitized. Unfortunately, this was the last vehicle we wanted to feature today, but there's no need to worry. Make sure you write "I want more" in the comments to keep more videos about vintage cars coming. Thanks for your time, and as always, may the torque be with you.